everyone, my name is Teyanarka and my role is the game designer. A game designer is someone who conceptualizes plots, environments, and other creative aspects connected to developing a game. Concept of the game. Oxenfree was created and developed by the Night School video game developer and publisher. The game's general genre is a supernatural thriller that is a choice-based game, meaning it is a non-linear story. Oxenfree runs on 2.5D graphic perspective with two-dimensional design environments, but with the characters being three-dimensional. Summary of the game. Alex, the character that the player controls, goes off the coast on a ferry for an overnight trip, along with her new stepbrother Jonas and a group of friends. After a long night, a supernatural event occurs which forces Alex and her friends to uncover the mystery of the past. Design of the game. Oxenfree's inspiration mostly comes from Night School's co-founder Adam Hines and Crankle's cousin. Adam Hines has worked on games like The Wolf Among Us and Tales from the Borderland, games of which were critically acclaimed titles. The general color palette of the game consists of dark earth tones like greens and browns, to add a certain mood and to fit the genre. It is also based on a 90s era proven by the characters' outfits. A bright colored filter is used to add intensity to the player's perspective. An example of this is when Jonas gets possessed by the Sunken. Another effect used is a glitch to show when a mechanical device is used. And here are the characters. Concept design. The images shown are the sketches that are used as a structure of the scenes where characters appear. On the other hand, the images on the right are character design choices for Alex and Clarissa, while the images on the left are the final designs for each character. Alexandra, or Alex, is the character controlled by the player. She lives in Camino, Oregon with her family. Growing up, she was close with her dead brother Michael and childhood friend Ren. Alex has brown skin, reddish-brown eyes, and teal-dyed hair that is tied into a ponytail. Jonas once lived in Westbridge, a small town near North Valley. Jonas's father married Alex's mother, therefore making him Alex's stepbrother. He wears a beanie that conceals his short brown hair and has green-brown eyes and fair skin. Nona is Clarissa's best friend. She is a love interest to Ren and potentially Jonas. Nona is known to skip school a lot and would practice ballet rather than go to class. Nona has fair skin and has long brown hair and hazel eyes. She wears a slouchy brown beanie. Reginald, or Ren, is a childhood friend of Alex and potential love interest of Nona. He is a drug user and plays in a band called Red-Headed Bedwetters. Ren is short with wavy blonde hair and thick eyebrows. He has black plug earrings and wears a collared shirt with green pants and sneakers. Clarissa lives in Camino, Oregon with her family. She used to date Alex's brother Michael before he passed away. She is known to be very popular at school. She has short red hair and reddish-brown eyes. She wears a blue v-neck shirt with jeans and a long gray jacket. Michael is Alex's deceased brother and Clarissa's ex-boyfriend. Apparently, he was very well liked in town and yet he still planned to elope to New York with Clarissa. Michael looks similar to Alex with brown skin, reddish-brown eyes, and auburn hair. He wears a blue raglan shirt with gray jeans. The Sunken serves as the main antagonist of the game. They were once the 97 people aboard the USS Kanaloa and was sank by a friendly fire, causing the experimental nuclear reactor contained within its hull to implode. Therefore, they were trapped in a void outside of space and time. Margaret Dorothy Adler, or Maggie, was until recently the longest living resident of Edwards Island. She went on to investigate the transmissions coming from the crew of the sunken USS Kanaloa and left 13 notes around the island. These notes explain the truth about the USS Kanaloa and the island itself. These can be tuned into the radio at each of the map locations. The more notes found, the deeper the conversations can be performed with the Sunken. To conclude is the endings. In the game, there are a total of 10 endings, each of which depend on the player's choices and actions throughout the game. And that's it. On to the sound designer.
Good morning everyone, my name is Sander Gloria and I'm the sound designer of Oxenfree game. And today we're gonna discuss about the voice actors and shots of this game. Sound designer Andrew Roman composed 21 beautiful shots for the game Oxenfree. This is the list of soundtracks that Andrew Roman composed. Voices behind the characters: Aaron Yvette, voiced Alex. Kevin Hammond, voiced Jonas. Aaron Cuban, voiced Ren. Brittany Johnson, voiced Nona. Anthony Lamb, voiced Michael. Avital Ash, voiced Clarissa. Joe Zieja, voiced the tour guide. Aaron Cuban is one of the voices of the song King. Beacon Beach. The soundtrack Beacon Beach has a hidden Morse code into it. For example, if you get the soundtrack of the game from Steam, the Morse code translates to Maggie. He's one of the characters that discovered the sunken submarine as well as the island. If you get the Insider's EP from Skybound website, the Morse code translates to All is Lost. 3 times in addition, regardless of any version of this track, they all end up with a hidden message. When reversed such as Sal August Sal and Dog Isabel Dog, which both translate to SOS and Dead, all in caps, which is interesting but also scary. Hidden message, Against the Rocks. For the track Against the Rock, if you speed up the song and reverse it, there's a hidden audio message. It says, "One last chance. You don't have to die." This audio seems to be coming from the ghost from the game.
Hi everyone, my name is Majid Abdul Majid Al-Balushi and I am the level designer. And my role as a level designer is also known as environment design or game mapping. Level design is a game development discipline that involves the creation of a video game level, locales, missions, or stages. This is done using some sort of level editor software used in a game development to construct digital environments. Starting off with the main settings of Oxenfree. Edwards Island is the main setting for Oxenfree. It is famous not only for the sinking of USS Kanaloa, but also the birthplace of many radio innovations. And moving on to the next slide, as you can see, here's the map of Edwards Island, and there's various locations such as Main Street, Discovery Cliffs, Beacon Beach, Adler's Estate, and many more. And there are 3 general motions in the game, such as walking, crawling, and climbing, such as the example pictures in the slide. And here are more examples of Edwards Island map. And there are multiple puzzles throughout the game that the player will thoroughly enjoy solving. And the puzzles include the radio, the tape player, and the hangman. The next thing I'm going to talk about is Freytag's Pyramid, or is known as the 5-stage choice structure. Starting off with the exposition. The exposition is the background information about the protagonist in normal life. Next one is conflict. Something happens that creates a problem for the protagonist. And the third one is rising action. Rising action is a sequence of events that happen as a result of conflict. These usually get more intense over time. And of course, the climax, the most exciting and important part of a story. After climax comes falling action. Falling action when the events that happen after the climax. And lastly but not the least is the resolution. The resolution of the story involves tying up the loose ends and climax and falling action. And here are the various locations where the exposition happened, such as in Ferry, Main Street, Discovery Hills, and Beacon Beach. And the color scheme starts off as bright in the exposition level as it changes every level in the game. Here's the exposition map location. And now on to conflict. The conflict started when Alex decided to take some cupcakes and explore the cave with her friends. And the location where the conflict happened is at Beacon Beach. Moving on to rising action. Rising action happened in various locations such as cave, facilities, US Army, and relay point. The color scheme on this level turns into warm tones. It adds intensity to players' perspective. And here are the rising action map locations. And now we're at Climax. Climax happened in Main Street, Bridgestand, Adler's Estate, Survivor's Bunker. Climax is the most exciting and important part of the story. And here are the climax map locations. And moving on to falling action. Falling action happened in various locations such as Adler's Estate, camping grounds, Alex's memories, and many more. And as we reach the end of the game, the screen gets brighter and brighter. As we reach the end, to conclude, resolution is when the conflict is resolved as it happens on the ferry, on the way home. And that's it for the level designer. On to the game programmer.
Good day everyone, my name is Chloe Patero and my part is the programmer of the Oxenfree game. So today we're going to discuss the game program with a focus to the Oxenfree game. So basically, a game programmer is someone who writes the programming that makes a video game work. They collaborate closely with producer and other departments such as game design, art, animation, and sound, among others, in order to turn the project's vision into a fully functional, playable game. Moving on, let's go and discuss the development made by the Unity game engine, Adobe Photoshop, and Autodesk Maya. So what happened way back? Heather Gross created the game's artwork, right? It was inspired by her own childhood. Alex's dress is comprised of things Rose wore as a child, as you can see on the screen. So the team wanted to show many individuals, dialogues, bubbles, and location to explore in the environment at all once. So that is why the three main apps has been used. So on this slide, it is all about the different graphic design elements that has been used to the whole game, which was developed by the three components mentioned earlier. Now, as a set of examples, illustration, garden, Nona, chibi, game fan art characters, night school studio, beautiful art, and poster design, they are all classified as the graphic design in the game. Outside of any levels or gameplay, the graphic designer who created this graphic design is responsible for mapping and developing how a user navigates around the game. So, as we go this far, we are here to tackle the controls and interfaces. Controls and interfaces in a game is important, wherein an online gaming user interface is a collection of graphic elements or visual components. It allows players to engage and interact in the game story, such as the narrative and entering the game space. In video games, there are 4 types of user interface, which are non-diegetic, diegetic, meta, and spatial. In order to play the game, here are the following samples of the controls being used in the game. In moving, choosing, interacting with objects, jumping, opening and closing the map, and the radio. So as you can see on the screen, we use WASD to move the character, and choosing dialogue we use mouse click, left click, and interacting with objects and jumping we use enter or space bar. So, and opening and closing the radio is shift. Opening and closing the map we use control. Okay, so now, when in terms of what type of game this is, it is a logic game, as you can see when you or someone play it. So this is not a multiplayer, it is just a single player game wherein you are the only one who can play this. And also it is a story focused game wherein the video game genre is a kind of interactive storytelling that features the dynamic changes in game mechanics to add to the tale storyline and themes. So we're in the last part of programming, which is the animation. So the animation focuses on the arts and effects, because game animation is frequently a complex mix of several types of movement. Animators create movement libraries that they may utilize for each character. They work in a way that maximizes gameplay and involvement while making the most of the game engine's technology. The animation, art, graphics, and effects requires for the game's major plot events. So that's it for the whole programming content. Let's now proceed to the game producer.
Good day everyone, my name is Hannah Lakap. I am the game producer for the game Oxenfree. Oxenfree is an inspiration that came from the mix of the 1970s and the 1980s, which has a lovely visual style. It is an intelligent conversation system that alters the story and the relationships of the characters based on each decision. For the timeline, on November 21st, year 2014, the Night School Studio issued a casting call. Then on March 1st, year 2015, the Night School Studios released the first trailer for Oxenfree on YouTube. On 18th of May 2015, the first 13 minutes of the game were released to the public. The trailer for Oxenfree was released on their YouTube channel on January 14, 2016. And on January 15, they have officially confirmed a web series collaboration with Skybound Entertainment. There was also an alternate reality game counterpart to this game. There have been radio frequencies in the game that provided hints to a real phone number. Players were directed to the Twitter account at X-Ray 916-936-3733 by this phone number. The account posted cryptic coded messages that all seem to point out to a real-world location. On April 27, 2016, the game's PS4 version was announced and was released on May 31st. As an addition to that, Jesse Cox, a YouTuber, posted a similar video to the PS4 Oxenfree trailer on May 7, 2016, but with several letters highlighted in red. Players were directed to edwardsisland.com as a result of this. And lastly, on year 2017, the game was ported to Switch and mobile platforms. For the marketing and social media, we have YouTube, Night Studio, Skybound, Discord, Twitter, and game reviews. For the critical analysis, we have the game reviews. For IGN, we have 8.2, for Metacritic 8, Steam 9, PC 80 out of 100, and for the iOS 87 out of 100. For the quotes, Oxenfree shows some smart thinking about the relationship between games and players, says Wired. But for Destructoid, anything but generic, it dials into its own style and mood, tapping into something very heartfelt and special. Massive Success by Electronic Gaming Monthly. The game among the decade's best by Polygon. And lastly, it's an important reminder that you can't win social situations, and that kept Oxenfree supernatural plot points grounded in reality by IGN. For the Game Awards, Oxenfree has been awarded in Excellent in Visual Art, nominated Independent Games Festival 2016, National Academy of the Video Game Trade Reviewers Award, DICE, and Golden Joystick Awards. And that is all. Thank you very much for watching.